He thought someone else would be better. Now he keeps comparing them to you. He was convinced he had options. At some point, he looked at what you were giving, the way you showed up, and the consistency you carried, and he still believed there was something better out there for him. It was not that you lacked anything, it was that he stopped valuing what was in front of him. He began to focus on what he thought he could gain somewhere else instead of recognizing what he already had with you. When he started pulling away, you felt it before you could explain it. The shift was not loud, but it was clear. The effort changed, the attention changed, the way he responded to you became inconsistent, and conversations that once felt easy started to feel strained. You may have tried to understand it at first. You may have asked questions or tried to adjust, hoping things would return to how they used to be. But deep down, you knew something was different. He had already made up his mind in ways you could not see at the time. He convinced himself that exploring something new would bring him more satisfaction. He told himself that what you had was not enough, or that it had become too familiar. That mindset made it easier for him to step away without fully considering the impact of his decision. In his mind, he was moving towards something better. You did not chase him when he left. You did not try to compete with the new situation he chose. Instead, you stepped back. That decision was not easy, especially when you were still processing everything that had changed. But you understood that forcing someone to see your value does not create real appreciation. So you allowed the distance to remain, even when it was uncomfortable. At first, everything seemed fine on his side. Everything seemed fine on his end. The new connection felt different, maybe even exciting. It was something he had convinced himself he needed, but over time, but over time, that feeling began to fade. What once felt new started to feel incomplete. The depth, the depth that he experienced with you was not there in the same way. The understanding you gave without being asked was missing. The consistency he once relied on was no longer part of his daily life. This is where the comparison begin. Not because he is trying to hold on to the past, but because the difference is it's becoming impossible to ignore. Small things remind him of you. The way you communicated, the way you handled situations, and the way you showed up consistently all start to stand out in contrast. He began to notice that he began to notice what is missing, not because someone told him, but because he is experiencing it directly. The person he chose may not have done anything wrong. The situation itself may not be entirely negative, but it does not carry the same weight. It does not carry the same weight. it does not feel as steady. It does not feel as real. That difference is what brings you back into is what brings you back into his thought, not as a memory he can dismiss, but as a comparison he cannot avoid. At the same time, you are no longer in that space. You are not waiting for him to realize anything. You are not measuring your worth based on his choices. You have already gone through the process of understanding what happened and accepted it. That acceptance allowed you to move forward without holding on to what he failed to see. He is now in a position where he has to sit with his own decision. He cannot undo what he chose. He cannot go back to the moment where everything was still within his control. The realization is happening in real time, and it is not something he can ignore. The more he experiences the difference, the clearer it becomes. What he is comparing now is not just people. He is comparing how he felt. He is comparing how he felt with you versus how he feels now. He is comparing the level of connection, the level of understanding, and the level of effort. That kind of comparison goes deeper than surface level attraction. It reveals what truly matters, even if he did not recognize it before. You did not need to prove anything after he left. Your absence became enough. He created a space where the reality of the situation could show itself without interference. That is what is happening now. The comparison is not something you created. It is something it is something his own experience is revealing. He thought someone else would be better, but that belief was based on what he imagined, not what he understood. Now that he is living in the outcome of that decision, that the difference is becoming clear, and that clarity is something he has to face on his own. While he is processing that realization, you are already in a different place. You are no longer trying to be chosen by someone who could not recognize your value when it mattered. You are moving forward with a clearer understanding of what you deserve, and that is something no comparison can take away from you. Thank you for watching this episode of Prophetic Diary with Alice. If this is your first time coming across this channel, this is Alice, and I'm so happy that you stayed up to this end. Kindly subscribe to this channel, and to my returning subscribers, I say a very big thank you for always supporting this channel. May God continue to bless you.